A 20-year milestone has been reached by Elon Musk's SpaceX. As a result of its growth, it has grown to become one of the world's largest privately held corporations, and it has reached numerous significant milestones. The fact that SpaceX is the first and only private corporation to successfully launch and operate a spaceship is one indication of its significance. Let's have a look at Elon Musk's important milestones. To know its important milestones, please watch the video till the end. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon to never miss an update. Let's get going. Moreover, it is the first private company to put humans in space and to dock with the International Space Station (ISS). As part of this effort, it is collaborating with STARLINK, which is a satellite TV for a computer online service that makes use of mega constellations of tiny satellites for the same purpose. Elon Musk, the company's founder, thanked SpaceX and its staff on the company's 20th anniversary. Musk launched SpaceX on March 14, 2002, with the goal of transporting humans to Mars. "Congratulations to the SpaceX crew on everything that you've done," Musk wrote in a Twitter post. SpaceX's most significant accomplishments over the preceding 2 decades are examined in detail. Falcon 1 and NASA. A contract for business orbital transportation providers, COTS, was issued to SpaceX by NASA in 2006, under which the company was required to demonstrate cargo delivery capabilities to the International Space Station (ISS) with the option of a subsequent contract for human transportation. The successful launch of SpaceX's Falcon 1 launch vehicle on September 28, 2008 was the first time a privately developed liquid-fuel rocket had reached orbit since a series of unsuccessful attempts between 2006 and 2008. It also made history by becoming the first company of its kind to launch a commercial satellite TV for PC into orbit when it launched Malaysian satellite TV for PC Razaksat into orbit in July 2009. When the Dragon reusable spacecraft completed 2 profitable flights in December 2010, it achieved all of the mission objectives of COTS Demo Flight 1, which had been set for that month. Because of this, SpaceX became the first private company to successfully launch, orbit, and improve a spacecraft. The Dragon spacecraft returns to Earth. The Dragon spacecraft, developed by SpaceX, is a cargo capsule designed to transport humans and supplies to the International Space Station (ISS). In 2010, SpaceX successfully launched Dragon into orbit atop the Falcon 9 rocket, which was the successor to the Falcon 1. In December 2010, the unmanned Dragon spacecraft returned to Earth, landing in the Pacific Ocean a few hundred miles off the coast of Mexico. This was the second time SpaceX had created history. It was the first time a private spacecraft has successfully returned to Earth after being launched into orbit. The Dragon docks on the ISS. SpaceX made history by being the first commercial business to dock with the International Space Station, which was yet another great feat. On May 25, 2012, more than a year after the Dragon's triumphant return to Earth, SpaceX successfully launched it to the International Space Station (ISS). Dragon spacecraft was towed into a docking port on the International Space Station by astronauts on board the space station using a robotic arm. Since that voyage, SpaceX has launched Dragon to the International Space Station (ISS) on resupply missions for NASA on a number of occasions. SpaceX makes history with the first rocket booster landing. One of the reasons Elon Musk established SpaceX was to research and develop technologies for reusing spaceships after they had been successfully landed, in recognition of the fact that the consensus on Mars at the time indicated that it would be too expensive to send humans there using present technology. Elon Musk set out to improve the state of the aerospace sector. For example, the capacity to reuse substantial portions of a spaceship that would otherwise disintegrate in orbit was one of the most critical advances that could be made. To make this conceivable, the first step was the successful landing of an orbital first-stage rocket. SpaceX performed this achievement in 2015 when it made the first unmanned upright touchdown with a Falcon 9 rocket booster, making it a historical first. Dragon C2 Falcon 9 reusable heavy-lift launch automobile. In May 2012, the Dragon C2 Plus became the first privately built spaceship to deliver cargo to the International Space Station (ISS). During the same year, SpaceX began prototyping the Falcon 9, a reusable heavy-lift launch vehicle that is expected to be operational by 2015. In January 2015, the company announced the launch of its StarLink service, which promised to deliver high-speed, low-latency broadband internet to users throughout the globe with minimal latency. As well as this, in 2015, SpaceX had one of its most devastating disasters when the Falcon 9 rocket exploded only 2 minutes after liftoff from Cape Canaveral. However, Falcon 9 Flight 20 was the first commercially successful landing at sea for the company in December 2015. STARLINK and launching a Tesla into orbit. It was in September 2016 when SpaceX had its second major failure when a Falcon 9 rocket burst into flames, destroying a satellite TV for PC cargo valued at more than $200 million. In February 2018, SpaceX conducted Falcon Heavy test flights, flying Elon Musk's Tesla Roadster into orbit with a model dressed in a spacesuit sitting in the front seat of the vehicle. It was the first personal spacecraft to be launched into a heliocentric orbit, and it made history. Using a Falcon 9 rocket, SpaceX launched a constellation of 60 Starlink satellites into orbit in May of 2019. Falcon Heavy's commercial flight launch setting new records. After launching its first commercial satellite in 2011, Falcon Heavy has grown into a major participant in the commercial satellite launch industry. The rocket has the capability of delivering an astonishing 141,000 pounds, 64 tons, into orbit, which is equivalent to a large number of Tesla Roadsters. For instance, the launch of the Arabsat 6A satellite last year, in which SpaceX broke its own record for distance traveled during booster recovery with a maneuver that saw it re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and travel approximately 770 miles, is an example of a successful Falcon Heavy mission recently completed, 1,240 kilometers. Crew Dragon, Starship prototype, and Inspiration 4 mission. SpaceX made history past in May 2020 when it became the first private company to successfully launch people to the International Space Station (ISS) after successfully flying 2 NASA astronauts into orbit on a Crew Dragon spaceship. When it launched 143 satellites aboard Falcon 1 in January of 2021, it broke the record for the most number of satellites launched in a single mission, setting a new record for the company. On May 5, 2021, the company successfully launched and successfully landed a prototype of their Starship rocket, which is intended to be a reusable transportation system capable of transporting personnel and cargo to Earth's orbit, the Moon, and Mars, among other destinations. In September 2021, SpaceX launched the Inspiration 4 mission, successfully completing the first orbital spaceflight trip with just personal residents on board, which had been underway since 2011. The spacecraft was also the first spacecraft to enter orbit without a crew member who has previous spaceflight experience since the Chinese-language spacecraft Shenzhou 7 in 2008. SpaceX provided training to all of the mission's crew members before their departure. STARHOPPE'S first untethered flight. StarHopper is SpaceX's Mk-1 prototype for Starship, the rocket that CEO Elon Musk expects could one day transport passengers to Mars and back. SpaceX has undertaken hops using StarHopper in order to put the massive power of the Starship's Raptor engines to the test in flight. In other words, they've launched the spacecraft into space but have not yet placed it into orbit. StarHopper's first successful hop lifted it 65 feet, 20 meters into the air, before bringing it back down to the ground to land. Water towers can fly, as Elon Musk phrased it on his Twitter account. The future of SpaceX, Mars, and beyond. Making it possible for people to travel to Mars would be the greatest wonderful experience ever, as Elon Musk put it shortly after Falcon 9's first successful landing. Almost from the beginning of his company, SpaceX, Musk has his sights set on landing on Mars. While there is still no specific date for when SpaceX will arrive on Mars, specialists are already scouting out potential landing sites on the planet's surface. Recently, Paul Worcester, SpaceX's chief Mars development engineer, went on the record as stating that the business is on schedule to reach Mars by the end of the decade. Anyway guys, here's where we're going to end the video. If you liked the video and found it useful, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to be notified when new spicy and interesting content is available. Tell your relatives and friends about it as well. We'd love to hear your opinions, so please share them in the comments area below. Stay safe. Take care.